Hello, everyone. It's Barbara Moore here for Catch Your Breath 60, and we are going live right now on YouTube.com. My name is Barbara Moore, and my handle is Catch Your Breath 60. I was diagnosed in 2015 with COPD, and in 2017, I created a blog called Catch Your Breath 60 and posted it online, and we have not stopped since. So I appreciate everybody who's coming today, and I'm going to mention everybody at the end instead of throughout the live today. It is very, very hot. Oh, hot. Uh, Temperatures are expected to be 32 this afternoon, and this is going to continue from yesterday to today and into tomorrow before the weather finally breaks and we start getting into temperatures in the 20s. To me, this is just God's weather. Get rid of the humidity. It hasn't started to get damp or cold yet. So the temperatures are nice and mild. I can go out with a light jacket on. It's the best time of the year, as far as I'm concerned. It's kind of making me think about that, September sadness that I get all the time, right? So, yeah. So we're all coming off of a holiday weekend. I think everybody had a holiday weekend. We had Labor Day, and we had the uh, CFL Classic this weekend that brought a lot of revenue into the Hamilton area. Unfortunately, Hamilton didn't win the game, but whatever. It's a it's a fun rivalry anyway. So this is September the 5th, 2023, and we're going to talk about comfort tools and the secrets that I think that you should know. It's funny, I can remember being young and strong back in the day, as I think that a lot of us kind of get trapped there, right? And when I ask people like what their biggest concern is, it's that they're not that age anymore. I remember those days and I was strong as fuck. I could, back in those days, do everything. I would take stuff apart, I would put it back together again. My husband would go to work and I'd paint the kitchen. Or I'd move all the furniture around or whatever. I could do anything in those days. I had so much strength. Uh, I thought little about what it would be like to get old. I, because I think I was the youngest of basically the whole family, like cousins and everything, like I was the youngest of everybody. So I didn't really think about, getting old. I thought more about what they would look like because I knew that they'd be getting old and I would still be fairly young, right? But I remember saying things like, I'll never be like that. I'll never look like that. And now, as I pass the mirror in the morning, I look at myself and I think, oh my God, where did my mother come from? Uh, it took one exacerbation and one sudden cardiac arrest, and my whole world was turned upside down. And that was the end of what a normal day would look like for me. My knowledge of COPD and living with a chronic illness increased in respiratory rehab. This is where I learned. I learned to take care of myself. I learned to make myself a priority. Um, I learned a better way to do tasks, and that it was important with COPD that we do things this way and stop trying to return to our old life. I had fought the symptoms of COPD, but I wasn't very good at it. And I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea that there was such things as breathing techniques. With determination, I basically plowed through stuff, and I thought that I was a success if I accomplished my task, regardless of how short of breath I was or how hard I was panting. I have reason to believe that it was in those days, before I was diagnosed, when I was still trying to hide my COPD, that my heart failure began. I'm pretty sure that that had something to do with it. And I can remember being so short of breath and just cut in half, thinking like, I'm going to pass out, I'm going to pass out. And yet, you know, you just go on, right? So some of the tools that I was given, and this started like right from my diagnosis. I had been in ICU for 3 weeks. I had been intubated and in a coma for about 5 days. And then 3 weeks I was in ICU. They didn't know what to do with me. So they said, well, let's see what happens. They weren't learning anything from me anymore. There didn't seem to be anything that they could do for me. I was pretty stable. And so a doctor came in and said, I'm going to give you a walker and some oxygen, walk to the door. And that was the equivalent of she can get to the bathroom so she can go to the ward. And that was um, my first step in getting out of ICU and getting on my way home. I didn't know it at the time, but I realize now that that's what had to happen. So one of the first tools that they gave me was a walker, and it helped me to get from one place to the other. It helped me to get out of ICU. And even though I didn't really think that I needed it, it was really nice to be able to stand and kind of lean against something as I was walking. And that was my walker, right? Because one of the things that I found, anyways, with my COPD when I first started, was that walking without, like, say, pushing a buggy or a cart, um, was harder uh, than when I did. So having the walker was excellent. I use it all the time now. I didn't always use it all the time. I used to leave it outside and take it when I was going out. I used to use it when I went out, so I could carry my oxygen. And now I use it all the time, and it helps me to get stuff from room to room, um, throughout the house, right? So that I could be a little bit more mobile and have the things that I need at, at my fingertips, right? So that was the first thing. And I absolutely love my walker. I actually just got a new one. In Ontario, the government will help you with the cost of a walker. So I don't know if anybody has, uh, don't know what it's like in the United States or anywhere else. I just know Ontario, Canada. The second tool that they gave me, and this was also in rehab, was reacher, a reacher, a grabber. I don't know what you call it. I looked at them, I looked it up, I searched reacher or grabber, and it's a long thing. It's a long thing. It's got a handle up here. You can do it like a gun, right? And you grab whatever you want to grab. So this helps you so that you don't have to bend over. It helps you so that you don't have to reach up too far over your shoulders. I have a real hard time with that, reaching over my shoulders. It's even really hard to wash my hair because I have to, you know. So from $10 to $30 at Walmart or Amazon, I saw them all over the place. You can have this tool. It's an excellent tool. Um, I have many of them in rooms all through my house. And as a bonus, my grandson can use it as a gun so he can get all the ghosts and the monsters in the house. Makes me feel good to know that he's got that. And he walks around with them all the time. Yes, I hear you, Callie Cat. Like I said, I have one in almost every room. So everybody will come out and go, "Where's the reacher? Where did you hide that reacher?" Um, Everybody uses it. Now I come from a short family too, right? So the next was journaling. This was also from Rehab and the education that I got there. I learned to journal my days in an attempt to learn more about my symptoms and what made them better or worse. This is how I found out that, in essence, I am affected by the weather. I actually can tell whether it's going to rain. I developed a list of questions for the doctor so that he would have a better chance at the best way to manage my COPD. Excellent. I don't know why more people aren't journaling. I just don't get it. Um, Finally, supplemental oxygen. I always wore oxygen at night, from the very beginning. And when I had a BiPAP, I always used oxygen at night. But eventually and gradually, what happens is that you need it to exercise at night. That's what happened to me. I started to need it to exercise when I was still working, and I would come home at night to do my exercises, and I would be very short of breath. And so I started to use it for exercising. And then eventually, doctor said, "You want to save yourself? Use the oxygen and don't take it off." So I started doing supplementary oxygen, which I can carry with my walker. It's excellent. And I have supplemental oxygen 24/7, as you probably know, because I always have my cannulas on. I bought myself a scooter, and I do this without any guilt or shame. I do not feel bad about buying myself a scooter. Now, I've got to tell you that there is a difference in scooters, and the great big scooters is not what I wanted. I wanted a small mobile scooter that could fit in the trunk of a car and was light enough to carry. So I couldn't do this. If it wasn't for my husband, I couldn't do it at all. In fact, I don't think I could even if it folded up itself, I couldn't put it into the trunk and get to the driver's seat of the car. So, it's all what you're used to. It's all anyways. The scooter that I got is very lightweight. It comes apart in 3 pieces. It's under 50 pounds, and it fits in the trunk of the car. It's excellent. And I'm going to say that my grandson made me do this because it was because of him and his need to be mobile while he was here that I can't keep sending my husband out with him to do stuff that we should be doing as a family. So, hey, the kid got me off my butt. And I decided that I didn't want to be cloistered in the house anymore. So I appreciate this scooter so much. I have been everywhere since I've got the scooter. And now that the weather's going to be turning and it's going to be a little bit nicer out, we'll be out again. Then I bought myself a stair lift because going out and coming back always meant going down and up 7 stairs, and the stairs would drive me crazy. Um, and I've talked lots in the past about my 7 stairs. I even did a video for AstraZeneca about what it took to get up and down 7 stairs. So I decided that if I was going to go out and come back that much with my scooter, I could not put up with the anxiety of coming back from a trip at the grocery store, wherever I was. I'd usually be gone a couple of hours, and by the time I got home, I would have to go to the bathroom so bad. And dragging myself up 7 stairs was like a monumental task. So what I started doing was saying, well, I don't want to go out then. Well, that defeated the purpose of having the scooter. And so I bought a stair lift. Now, it wasn't very expensive, I got to tell you. The first place that I called blew me away with the prices. It was something like $10,000. I only have 7 stairs. But I paid $2,000, just over $2,000 for the stair lift, and I thought it was a pretty good price. And they put it in for me probably within a week. Best money I ever spent. So now when I go out, when I'm using my scooter and I go out, I'm much more comfortable coming home, knowing that I don't have to drag myself up those 7 steps. Finally, I was at the doctor, and we know that I'm a retainer. The first sudden cardiac arrest that I had, I went in and I was like, my carbon dioxide levels were off the chart. And they knew that at that point, they knew from that test that I was a retainer, and it's always been an issue. So I went to my doctor last month, and he said, "You're full of carbon dioxide." He said, "I can see it. I don't know, there was some signs he was looking at." And he sent me for an arterial blood gas test, which tells what your carbon dioxide is. And mine is extremely high. So I said to him, "What can I do to lower the carbon dioxide?" And he said, "The only thing that you can really do is to start sleeping sitting up. This retaining becomes an issue when you're laying down. This is why they don't want you in bed too long in the daytime, right? You've got to get up and walk around, because that's when you're able to expel more carbon dioxide." So, I took it pretty seriously. Like, I really did. I've heard this before, and other times I didn't take it too seriously, and I would always respond with, "I sleep on a wedge," and I've talked a lot about using my wedge and everything, right? But the problem is that I'm a slider. So as soon as I'm sleeping kind of sitting up or elevated on the wedge, as soon as I go to sleep, I slide right down and off of it. And this was always the problem when I was a kid and I had bronchitis. So he said that I had to sleep sitting up, and I took it pretty serious. And we got adjustable beds. So these beds that they have now that are adjustable have a split. So you can get a queen or a king. Probably should have got the king, but I'll tell you about the king. I don't know if in my next place we're going to have enough room for a king size bed. So I thought it better to order the queen. So we got a queen split for my husband and I. Now my husband's not a very big guy. He's about $1.25. And so it works for him, but I'm kind of on the bigger side, right? Anyways, I can't believe how well I'm sleeping. So I'm sleeping sitting up, and if I put my knees up, my butt gets in that corner in there, and I can sleep sitting up. So I don't know. Let's see how that works. Once again, it wasn't a price that I thought was extraordinary, but around 4,000 for the beds. We'll see. Maybe they'll pay off. Anyways, that's all for today, guys. Have a great week, and I hope everybody enjoyed their holiday weekend. My grandson took the bus today for the first day of senior kindergarten. And oh my God, he was so cute getting on the bus. So anyways, he's on his way now. And I got to go spend some time with him before his mother comes. This is Barbara Moore for Catch Your Breath 60. And I would like to thank Beverly, Janice, Kathleen, Annie, Norma, Cindy, Callie Cat, Mary Wallace, Deborah Griffith, and Janice Ray for joining us today. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate your time today.